20 minutes for our Q&A for the audience, from the audience. And then shortly after, we'll do a little wrap up and then we'll get out of here. So first, we just want to recognize that 1 Million Cups was created by the Kauffman Foundation. The purpose of the Kauffman Foundation. Get that for me. Thank you, Betty. The purpose of the Kauffman Foundation is to work alongside educators, researchers, and partners to better understand and improve the environment in which entrepreneurs start and grow businesses. 1 Million Cups has been around since about 2012. In the beginning of 1 Million Cups, it was just a small program in Kansas City and has now grown to about 131 communities, including here in Chico, California. One Million Cups is a free bi-weekly program to educate, engage, and connect local entrepreneurs. It's an environment where you are able to have different conversations with different entrepreneurs in your local community and beyond. The overall mission behind 1 Million Cups is to, again, not only lower the barriers of access to education and resources for all entrepreneurs, but to be surrounded by a community and an environment that helps you build ideas and get your feedback for your business. If you all want to learn more about 1 Million Cups or to know how to present here yourself, feel free to join our amazing community online and visit our platforms at 1 Million Cups/Chico to sign up. All right, cool. So now since we're done with that, so again, we'll have about 6 minutes for our presentation. Then we'll have 15 to 20 minute Q&A session. So now for the good stuff. Hey, hi, Jessica.
Hello. So my internet is going just a bit slow. So give me 1 second. I'm just trying
to take your time. So quickly, just let me introduce Jessica Walker, founder of Jaw Speak Digital. Let's give her some snaps, y'all. All right, Jessica, go ahead, take your time, pull up your slides, and we'll go ahead and get started.
Okay, great. But while I am getting started, I would love to hear kind of who is here and kind of get a sense of who I'm speaking to. I am speaking to entrepreneurs and business owners. Are you in physical business or are you online? If you could just put either a 1 up or a 1 in the chat if you are online. And if you're not, don't do anything. You have an online business. Awesome. Great. Awesome. So we have some folks here who will understand when I talked about digital presence and I start to get into content creation and marketing. So I'm super excited about that because it's something that I nerd out on continuously. And it's something that I love to teach on as well around monetization and monetizing all the content that we create as well. So let's go ahead and hop on into it. So my business is Jaw Speaks Digital. This came out of an really a need that I saw in the digital space as a mom and as a woman in this space. I just realized that I didn't see a lot of folks utilizing digital media at the time. Now, this was all of, oh my gosh, I'm dating myself. This was like 7 years ago, 8 years ago. So I've been in this digital space for a good minute. And at the time I was helping moms around maternal health and I was just kind of advocating for maternal health. And I still do a large piece of that as well as a side business. But on that side note, I had a lot of folks that were coming to me like, how did you make this video? Or how did you post this post on Facebook? Or how did you grow your Facebook group? And so I started to get a lot of those inquiries. And I remember my first client was a pastor's wife. And I met her at a networking event here in Sacramento. And she just wanted me to show her how to build a opt-in. So if you're online, you know these words are opt-in page on her website so she can get more email addresses and build her email list. And I was like, you're gonna pay me to do that? Oh my gosh. So that opened up the world of online entrepreneurship and business to me, because I had no idea that someone would actually pay me money out of their own pocket to help them and show them what to do online. So that started Jaw Speaks Digital. Jaw is basically just a combination of my initials, Jessica Allison Walker. So that's where the word jaw came from. It has nothing to do with the movie. It just was a way for me to differentiate myself, because my name is Jessica and there's 50 million Jessicas in the world. So I had to find some kind of way to stand out. So as you can see here, it talks a little bit about digital media and expertise and working with top celebrities. So in this journey, I've been able to work with a lot of amazing folks who have big names, and also some folks that you may not know of as well, but they're definitely behind the folks that you know of in the celebrity space, I'll say. So we really focus on relationship focused content creation. A lot of the solutions that we come up with are customized for our audience. So that's where I see a little bit of my problem, but I'll talk about that in just a moment. So I was hoping, okay, there we go. Empowering your earnings one insight at a time. We are huge on analytics. So Jaw Speaks Digital revolutionizes your digital journey, creating a tailored system to grow your personal brand across multiple platforms and generate revenue, engagement, and lasting impact. So when we talk about this, we talk about repurposing content. A large piece of that is repurposing content and making sure that our clients have more time so that they don't have to continuously create, but they can make sure that their name is continuously in front of their audience all the time, or their brand, right? So the problem. In this digital world, businesses struggle to optimize their content and their personal brand. Engaging the audience, generating revenue, achieving lasting impact can be challenging. So once again, it's great to have to repurpose content if you have content. If you have no content, that turns into a problem. And then getting folks to create the content, and once again, customizing these solutions has been a huge barrier for me, because I love to have this like insightful deep dive into businesses. And sometimes folks are just like, just create the content or just put it out there for me. And it's like, that's not how I work. I want to get to know you. I got to know your story in order for me to create the content. And a lot of folks don't understand that that's a huge part of telling the story, right? The overall of telling the story, they don't understand that it takes some time to develop that and also build their brand online. They just want it to happen instantly. Like, I want to just go viral. I kind of need to know your story a little bit. I need to know who you're speaking to, because I can make you go viral, but then you have a bunch of views. You got 1 million views on the TikTok video. You have no money. That's a problem. So our solution. So our team of seasoned experts, it's not only myself, I have a whole host of other digital colleagues, I'll call them, that I conference with and bring in, depending on what type of business folks have, to help them optimize their content. And we provide guidance and content monetization. Going back to that piece of going viral is great, but how do you monetize it? And then also a target audience, speaking to the right audience, offering a roadmap to long-term success in the digital space. How do we make sure you build an ecosystem around your brand and not just have your brand out there like folks kind of know me, they kind of don't know me, but they don't know what you do, right? They may know your name, they may have seen you pop up every now and again, but because you're not consistent with your content posting, you're not speaking to the right audience, so you're not monetizing and you're not converting, you become frustrated, and then your audience also just doesn't know what you do. So unlocking hidden financial prospects. A lot of the celebrity folks that I deal with are folks that have a large brand or influencers. They have followings, but they don't know how to monetize them. And it's usually because they focused on at one piece, virality, right? They focused on making sure they were known, but then they didn't really hone in on what exactly they were known for, or they didn't look at their full-on business model. So we help them in building up that ecosystem, deep diving into the audience that they've already built, and kind of looking at what their audience is asking them for, and then how do we monetize that? All right. And we'll go back to that. Why choose us? We are data driven. Once again, we are deep divers. We research like nobody's tomorrow. We really go into your analytics and take a look at the whole business and look at your building out your ecosystem. And tailorized solutions, once again, this is a huge problem for us because I can only tailorize as many clients as I can speak to. But it also is a great opportunity for our clients because they don't usually get this from a lot of big agencies or even individual agencies. Most time they want to put you in like a group scenario where we're very individualized and very customized. And then a monetization roadmap. We have a lot of folks out here that talk about, like I said, going viral and trending and all that other good stuff, but nobody really brings it into a full circle and building out the ecosystem and monetizing it. Like, okay, we can monetize in memberships, but we also can do licensed content. We can have, links in your videos, all these other ways that you can really monetize, and it can be hands off so you can still do what you do best. And your content's future begins now. So I'll let you guys read this. It really is an untapped gold mine. If you create content in any way, shape, or form, whether it's YouTube, TikTok, Facebook post, huge one, LinkedIn post, huge one. Anytime that you create content or ideas that you put out there to the world, it can be monetized in a way that can benefit your business, but then also get you more clients. It's just about positioning yourself in the right light. So it really is an untapped gold mine. So this just talks a little bit more about elevating your revenue. And I think I've talked too much, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it here with Q&A. But one part I didn't talk about that I want to make sure that I include here, and I think it's on the next slide. So that's our challenge, and I'll go into that if you guys want to go into that a little bit more. But I want to talk about, maybe I put it on the last one. Yeah, let's go into this one. Tools. There are a lot of online tools that you can utilize in your business to automate a lot of the things that you do. And so many people are at a disadvantage, especially small business owners and business owners just in of themselves, because they don't know about these tools. We know about AI because that's just made the news, right? But there's so many automation tools that don't necessarily use AI, but definitely use aspects of it to help you do what you do in a faster, more efficient, and more profitable way. So I definitely want to make you guys aware of this, just the different tools that are out there. There's repurpose.io, which will help you post to one platform and monetize multiple platforms. There is also Gamma, which is the site that I'm using here. Gamma actually takes your content and can provide you with slides that you can create in literally seconds. I mean, you literally can put in one word and it will take it and create a whole slide deck presentation. Now you do have to customize it and put in your own voice, right? You don't want to take everything from AI, but there's so many different tools, and those are just a few, but I wanted to make sure that I mentioned those because I want people to really know about those too. So that is my presentation. I hope that was helpful and useful, and I will go back to my slides slide here. And if you want to talk about the services we offer, I'll of course go through that as well.
Yeah, go ahead and tell us about a little bit about the challenges, and then or about your challenge, and then kind of tell us about the services you offer, please.
Okay, so our challenge, the most significant barrier moving our business forward at this time, once again, is scaling our operations while maintaining the same level of personalized service and attention to detail that our clients value. So, I'm just going to read what this says. As we grow it, it becomes increasingly important to strike the right balance between expanding our reach and ensuring that each client continues to receive exceptional service. That has been like my standard of like Y'all Speaks Digital, but this requires careful planning, resource allocation, process optimization, and just, I guess, for a big piece of it is I've been looking at really defining my onboarding process, right? I could have these additional experts that come in and help me kind of onboard a lot of the folks and go through my process, and really optimizing my process is kind of something I've been working on within the last couple of weeks, actually, since I've been back from vacation. How do I take the process that I take my clients through and then teach others how to do that?
Okay, thank you.
And then services that we offer. Go into that slide here. Or did I pass it up? There we go. There it is. Clarity and strategy. A lot of folks that are, depending on where their business is in their content creation journey or in their online journey, right? How much revenue they're bringing in. We look at clarity and we look at strategy. A lot of folks, what they do is they hire a social media manager, and they believe that the social media manager is supposed to know what type of content to post, where to post it, how to create it. Not true. So get that out of your mind. A social media manager is an additional person you bring in to delegate some of the tasks that you already have, and the processes and things that you already have, and the strategy that you already have. There are some folks that can do both, but they are unicorns in the space, right? I'm one of those unicorns because I used to work as a social media manager, and then I moved into strategy, but I'm a huge nerd and nerd out on all things. So I'm one of those folks that can do systemizing and content creation and video editing and social media management and all some of the other things that I'm losing track of right now, but tools and email opt-ins, all of those different things. I can kind of take it from a business from start to finish, plus growing an audience, right? But there's not a lot of people that can do that, especially social media managers. So that clarity helps you to define who your audience is and then provide you with a strategy so you can give that to your social media manager, and then they know exactly what to post, exactly who they're speaking to, and then you can just do that over and over and over again in different ways with different mediums, right? Some are blog posts, some are videos, some are static posts, so on and so forth. Content audits are ways that we just go into your content and look at what you're currently doing and then provide you with feedback and a direction in which way to go. Content calendar is pretty self-explanatory. Video creation, we're looking at different platforms, whether you should be on YouTube or TikTok or a little bit of both. And then how do you utilize and maximize your content? And then content repurposing plan, which is what I talked about earlier, which is looking at the content you already have and figuring out ways to repurpose that content so you can do more of what you do, but still your content, your audience is being fed through the content that you place on social media.
Awesome, awesome.
So how many people do you have working for you, Jessica?
Two. There's me and my VA. That's it. I'm a solopreneur. I do not want to build a large team, which is kind of a hindrance for me as well. I do not want to be responsible for a gazillion employees. There are a lot of people that want to build a huge, huge business, but I think that with the automation tools that we have and the software that we have at our fingertips, there's no need to have a huge, huge team. Not for my business model anyway.
Who's your ideal client?
My ideal client is a woman in business who is leading her own business. She's been in business for a while, but she wants more acknowledgement and she's looking for folks who are ready to take it to the next level. And she wants her social media to match what she's already doing in her real life, right? So what I get is a lot of like speakers or celebrities who are out here killing the game in real life, but their social media presence is either or they're not monetizing it. So they're doing a lot of live streams, a lot of posting, all that good stuff, but they aren't monetizing it to the maximum. So we help them take it to the next level.
Nice.
So Jessica, take us back to take us back to young Jessica and what was going through your mind as you were starting to or what made you know that you had the skills to do what you do today?
I didn't. I didn't think I had any skills, to be honest with you. I was a mom of 6, I was a teen mom. I was like all the things that people say your life is over, you can't do anything kind of a thing, right? And I like I said, it was that one client that I got and I was like, oh, and I happened to see a woman who said, I made $1 million from my laptop. And I said, she did what? And she was actually nursing her son while she was, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you can actually be at home with your kids and make money. How do I do that? And so I just deep dived into what I needed to do in order to do that. And I started to look at some of the skills that I already had that have just have been innate. I have been helping people market their business since I was in high school. Okay. My friend used to do hair. So I would take her to all the schools during prom time and tell her we need to promote to all the kids because they all need their hair done for prom. So we would go to all the schools and hand out flyers. I've been doing this stuff, but I didn't realize that it was something I can get paid for. So once I started to go into my story and like, oh, wow, I can get paid for this. I can do this because that's the same thing this company is doing. That's the same thing this company is doing. I just need to position it this way or that way. And so, young Jessica thought she had no skills at all, but older Jessica knows better. And older Jessica teaches other people
awesome.
that your own story can get out there and make some money and over again. That's the thing about it, right? I thought it was like a fluke. I was like, oh, she just paid me because she wanted to be nice or whatever. And then I started promoting it. And I was like, oh, wait, companies want to pay me for this. So I did a brand partnership with Baby Center. I just did a promotion with Netflix for a Netflix special just recently. And I'm looking at some other opportunities and a couple of different proposals that I have on the table that are in the millions of dollars. So now I'm like, oh my gosh, there's actually money out here waiting for me. I just needed to go out there and get it and position myself to get it. So that's what I teach other folks now.
Yeah.
That's great advice,
love
Jessica.
that.
That's congratulations. That's
Definitely.
amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, it's pretty exciting. It's pretty exciting. It's pretty dope.
True.
Do you ever work with nonprofits?
Yes. So my maternal mental health, which I'll say this, I am the co-chair for the Sacramento Maternal Mental Health Collaborative because that's a huge passion of mine. It's just helping women. So in that same capacity that I help business women, I also want to help moms, but I do that more on the nonprofit side of it. So with our company, Be Mom Aware, I built out, so if you go to BeMomAware.com, I built out the whole website there. I built out all our ecosystems, and that's where a large part of the like $1 million, proposals and things are happening in those spaces, right? In the healthcare space where I'm speaking to and training folks in that space on how to utilize these systems and things and care in that in those companies. So with that nonprofit piece of it, I've worked with MLK 365. They're a huge organization here in Sacramento. They host somewhere around, I think it's 30 to 40,000 folks that come out. So I did a lot of their social media marketing. That's back when I was a social media manager. And I've also helped a couple of other nonprofits as well. herhealthfirst.com is another one. And I'm trying to think of another one that I helped. There's been several that I've helped that I'll keep off the, because I wasn't the official, but I was just consulting.
Awesome.
So I have a huge heart. That's another problem I got. Is that I'll get somebody that's just like, I don't have any money. And I'm like, okay, let me help you. Which I realize I have to do that in moderation.
Yeah.
I only have so much capacity.
Cool. All right, let's open the floor for Kent to ask a question, please. Go ahead.
Okay, so you mentioned some monetization tactics. What sort of things are you talking about, like maybe affiliate networks or stuff like that?
That's one piece of it, but no, that's not what I'm mentioning at all. That is one piece of the puzzle, though. You can absolutely do affiliates. Right now, a huge that's like dominating right now is TikTok affiliates, where you basically can put a link on a video and get paid from that video, make it and sell a product on your video. So that's a huge thing right now. But tell me about your business. What type of business do you have?
Well, I've got a blog that has information about grid-free radio. A lot of it's ham radio, CB, GMRS, maybe some business stuff. I should get into that, but mainly, I guess I'm focusing on like the ham radio hobby and also like for public service.
Okay. So
And I did a lot of volunteering on that. So I know what you mean about having your free time eaten away by volunteering. And then it's like, oh, you're supposed to get paid to get some money somewhere.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like, oh, wait, my bills are due. Okay.
Right.
Right. So I work with a lot of folks that have a huge heart, right? And so I tell them the same thing. There's a difference between your ministry and what you get paid for in your business. And so you have to just make sure that your ministry doesn't eat away at the business. And you
Right.
still can do the ministry, but that's where monetization comes in, right? That's where
Yeah.
if you were monetizing the business properly, let me use that word. I'm not going to say appropriate, but properly, then you could do more. And that's where I've kind of moved into. Once I got those systems into place and I got those things rolling, right? Then I was able to, okay, now I can go and volunteer here, volunteer there, or put together, like we have a newsletter that I use that I kind of just feed folks with, right? Folks that can't pay me, that are like, I can't afford it right now. Okay, great. Go to the newsletter, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and that is the way that I help them, right? So it doesn't necessarily always have to be my time. And that was a huge confusion I had back in the day was, oh, I have to like give my time. I got to be there in order to be helpful. Go watch this YouTube video right here. This is going to help you do X, Y, and Z. and it'll help move folks forward where you don't have to personally be there. So that would be advice that I would give to you. If there's any way that you can look at turning your knowledge or your expertise or the thing that you give to these organizations. Obviously, if you're handing out meals that are physical, you can't do that. But
Yeah.
If there's any way that you can take some of that and digitize.
I was a feature film editor for a couple of low budget independent films.
Oh,
And
nice.
then I worked at beyond a firearms training facility
Okay.
for a few years I'd be over the shoulder, some housewife learning how to hit a target, stuff like that. I was kind of like the media guy. So
Nice.
I did that for a few years. So,
And I'm sure you still get questions about that, right?
Right. It's funny that a lot of the volunteers that I worked with in Chico when I was there, a lot of them were gun owners. So they'd see us, we were wearing a CERT shirt or something, and they'd think I was part of like a police SWAT team or special weapon. We all have guns, but that's not what we do. We're like,
Right.
Bringing food out in the snow to someone's trapped in their trailer or something like that.
Wow. Yeah, but I'm sure, those questions can be turned into, videos. So
Well,
then when you get that
the
question,
radio aspect is important because there's a lot of areas like even in Butte County or around
Mm.
Sacramento that don't have cell service, or that like when
Oh.
Paradise, where I went to Paradise High School in the 70s, and when that town burned to the ground, they lost their cell service. So
Mhm.
then you had to be on something like GMRS or ham or CB, or you weren't going to talk to anybody. So that's something. And I was in San Francisco during the World Series quake in 1989. That got me started in ham radio. I renewed my interest in it because I got licensed back in '78. So I've been at this a long time, as far as the radio hobby. And then it's like sometimes you get these emergency events that spark you to get back into it.
So something I would suggest to you is, because you're very passionate about it, I can hear the passion behind your voice as you kind of talk about it. And you feel it's very important for folks to be able to communicate. Imagine if you started a YouTube channel and then said, this is what you do in an emergency with X. This is how you connect your radio to blah, 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 to make sure that you
I have a couple videos up already,
Awesome.
but it hasn't, so that's part of my plan.
Yeah, so a lot of that can be just make sure that your tags and titles. If I could tell you anything, tags, titles, thumbnails, the 3 T's, right? Tags, titles, thumbnails. Those are that'll get your videos ranking.
All right, thanks.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that, Jessica. So we got a question in the chat here. It says, what is your favorite kind of product or business to market for?
Oh, that's a good one. I think anything that has to do with moms, just because I'm a mom.
Okay.
Anything
Got any
that has to do
examples
with
of
moms.
businesses you worked with that
Say it again.
do you have any examples of business you worked with that were geared towards moms? Or
Black Women Birthing Justice. They are an advocacy group for Black women in birthing, and I just love helping them get their brand out there. To be honest, it's really any female-led business. I feel very passionate about women being the forefront. Now I do work with guys, so that's not, I'm not putting y'all out. But what I'll say is that I feel as though it's very empowering to me to empower other women to see their value.
Nice.
And I get that same I think I empower myself in that, right? So it's like a win-win. I get to help them, but I help myself too, because I love to see it. But then I also get that on the guy's side when I see a guy that's like, I don't know if I can do videos, or I don't know if videos are for men. Like I see so many women doing them. And then they get that one like reel or a TikTok that goes viral, or it doesn't even go viral, right? It just reaches a certain group of people that start to comment, and they're like, dang, I'm really impacting someone's life. So if I were to give that a true answer, it's really anyone that wants to impact the lives of others in a positive way utilizing digital media. That is my perfect and ideal business client to work with, right? They want to positively do something. They don't want to just use the stuff just to make money. Yes, we want to make money, but it comes as a result of what you're doing, not as the, ultimate thing.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Thank you for that. Cherie, you got a question for us?
Hi, Jessica. My name is Cherie Higgs, and I'm a fellow Black-owned business owner and mother. So coming in, I know I was a little late, but listening to the things that you were saying was very motivating and inspiring. And so I want to thank you for that and your time today, because you putting out your energy and effort is definitely changing lives. In this short video, I'm like, oh my God, who's this lady? I need to like connect with her. But I was going to ask you, when you first started out, how did you price the work that you were doing? Because I'm having a hard time pricing my worth, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to charge people for the work I'm doing, because it's very important and it matters and it's going to make a difference. But I also realize that if I don't know how to put a price on myself when I'm going into these atmospheres with business owners and school people who want to invest, I'm not really coming off too sure of myself, and that's become more apparent over the last couple weeks. So I wanted to ask, like, how do I do that?
First of all, it has to start off with your mindset, because I had the same mindset when I started off. I was like, I don't want to. And a lot of it has to do, like I said, it has to do with your mindset and what you're telling yourself, because you're telling yourself, oh, nobody has money. I mean, I don't want them to think that I'm coming after their money. I don't want them to think X. I don't want them to think Y. They're going to think what they're going to think. But one thing they do have is they got money. Okay. And anyone that has a problem, they're willing to pay to solve that problem, whether they pay you or pay someone else. So I would prefer for good people to have money than for people that are out there doing bad things with their money. So that's how I look at it. I'm taking your money so it goes to good things, because I know I'm going to make sure it goes to, helping moms or telling stories, or even just my own family. When I started to preference it as, you're not paying for my time, you're paying for the time that I'm taking away from my children. So in essence, you're paying them. That's what I had to frame it that way. And then I was like, okay, yeah, no, they're not paying me. They're paying my kids. Because ultimately my kids take off anyway. It doesn't go to me. Right? Very little of it actually stays in my pocket. So it was the way that I framed it. And when once I framed it in that way, and then also too, don't think your pockets is someone else's, right? Just because you look at your bank account, you only see, $200. That company has $50,000 that they just spent on we just had the Super Bowl, a Super Bowl ad. They can surely pay you $5,000 to speak or $3,000 to speak. That's pennies to them, right? So it really kind of depends on who you're speaking to as well, and your positioning on it. Because if you're speaking to small business owners, they can't necessarily pay you, 10 to 20,000. But if you're speaking to X corporation and they're bringing in X amount of dollars, then yes, they can spend 10,000. They can spend 20,000 gladly, without blinking an eye. And it's so funny that I'm speaking to you guys, because one of my other clients, and I'm just thinking about now, and I apologize to you guys in advance if you're watching this, I'm sorry, was Chico. It was the Chico County. Chico County brought me out to help them with a campaign around helping mothers and supporting mothers through social media. And they were the first county to pay me what I was worth. I had one woman there who I'm blanking on your name, but I'm sorry, but I'm horrible with names anyway, so don't take it personally. And who told me, Jessica, we paid $10,000 to $20,000 for printer ink or something it was. We will pay you whatever you want on this project. And I said, whatever I want. She said, yeah, whatever you want. How much do you want to be paid? Oh my gosh. Okay, here you go. This is how much you want to be paid. And actually, I underpriced myself, but they were like, okay, here you go. Oh my gosh, that turned out to be a pretty hefty. I won't say the amount because I don't know if they want me to say that, but it turned out to be an amount that I used to buy myself a van, buy my family a van, right? It was
Mhm.
a good amount of money to where a good amount of chunk change where I could pay for some things and pay off some debt and things to that effect. So yeah,
Mhm.
they have it. You just have to ask for it. And as far as pricing yourself in the right way, go and do some research. Research what other folks are charging and how comparable that is to the services that you're offering, because you don't want to overcharge as well, right? You want to stay within the market pace rates of what the marketplace is charging. But do your research on the back end, but don't be afraid to go for the gusto. Don't go for
Thank
it.
you
Ask for
so
it.
much.
Mhm.
I'm gonna get your
Yeah, but
contact
yeah,
info.
absolutely.
It'll be-
Anyone here, feel free to reach out to me offline. I'm more than happy to answer any questions. I'll probably answer it in a video, but I will definitely answer it.
Cool. Hey, Jessica, I just want to say a few things. I really love how you said like you nerd out about this. Like it shows you're passionate about it, and like we could tell over here. I also like how you said that you get to know the person and their story before just going all in, because I think that's
So
super important as well. As
Yeah.
well as the ecosystem to pay attention to. Like it's not just one thing. So just want to give you some praise. Also, a question is, do you just get the person's content and then you go from there, or what's like the steps?
No. So back to like that storytelling piece of it. So what we do is we sit down and we do a full deep dive. If they have a team, then we do a deep dive with the team. And then we actually find out how much the team actually knows about the story of the company. What we find out is most of the time this team don't know nothing about the company. They know their name, they don't know the story, they don't know the origin story of the CEO, nothing. So we go through that part first, right? So we sit down and do, I think that's the analysis part of it, or not the analysis, what did I call that? The clarity, there we go. It's the clarity part of it. So we do a clarity session and then we just go through and go, okay, how did you start this? And if we can have the CEO on, great, but we try to get as high up as we can. If it's a small business owner, obviously, then yes, we're speaking directly with them. And we're going, okay, why did you start this? Why is it important now? Why do you want to use social media to do this? Why? And then once they start to, it's hard for me to kind of do it off the riff, but once they start getting into it, I'll go, oh, even like I'll use, and I'm going to, so I can use Kent, I'll use Kent's story. Okay, so why are radios even important, right? And then he would go into why radios are, okay, so what happens if these folks don't get their signal? And he'll go into, well, they won't know to move. They won't know what to do next, and okay, and why is that important? Because if they don't know to move, they don't know when an emergency is coming. They don't know when. Oh, okay. So we need to talk more about that in your content. And then if they tell me a story that I feel like is really powerful, I'm like, get off of this right now. Go record that. Before you forget, just go record that, because that is a story that people need to hear. Even if it doesn't get a million gazillion views right now, I guarantee you sometime within the future. And this is what happens to a lot of even the content that's happening on TikTok. All of a sudden they're pulling up songs, they're pulling up movie sayings, they're pulling up that have happened years ago. It's going to come back to you. It will happen for you, but you have to put that content out there first and those stories out there first, because you'll get that one person that's searching, and it may be an executive at, whatever company, X, Y, and Z company, that'll reach out to you. I've gotten brand deals that way, right? I've just created a video on a tool, just happenstance because I like the tool. And all of a sudden a brand is reaching out to me like, hey, we pay you $750 for a 30-second video. Yes, you can. What's your tool? And if I don't like it, I don't post it. So
Yeah. Cool.
yeah,
Amazing.
I hope that answers the question. I go through a clarity
It does.
session.
Yeah, that's how we all said. Cool. Thank you.
How are you
go ahead.
curating your clients? How are you getting your clients? For instance, how did you reach out to Butte County and search them, or did they reach out to you? And how is your sales funnel happening? As far as
So I'm actually going back to this model. So before the pandemic, I would just go to events. So it's about strategically, but when you know what your story is and you know what value you have, then you know what places you need to show up in. So once you understand that and you get that clarity around it, I knew I need to show up. They were doing an event here in Sacramento, and I was like, oh, gotta go to that, right? So I just positioned myself in the places where I knew the people that needed my help were. I didn't do extensive research, but I did kind of research them out a little bit. And to be honest, I didn't know that they were doing anything with social media at the time. I just knew they're helping mothers and talking about maternal health, which I'm super passionate about. So I showed up and they started to talk about, we had this campaign, it did okay, but it didn't really do well. And then I was like, oh, well, let me tell you a couple of reasons why I didn't do well. You didn't do this, and this. And they were like, who are you? And that's how I ended up. And it was like, we're gonna have a conversation with you. I was like, okay. And that's how I got that contract. It was just showing up in the right places. So right now, currently, I do a lot of YouTube and TikTok, and that's how I get a lot of my clients. But I am going to go back to going to more in-person events now that we know it's safe, or kind of safe, not really safe.
Cool.
And then you target that around the Sacramento area or around Northern California, or how are you targeting your
Topic.
Okay.
Topic. So target market. Are they speaking on something I'm either passionate about or somewhere I know I can speak to? So like Stripe is doing an event in San Francisco that I plan on attending in April. I know that all of the folks that I need to speak to are in that audience, right? They know about tools. If they're using Stripe, then they have a payment processor. So they're most likely in business. And a lot of SaaS founders use Stripe. There you go. Target audience, right? If I want to get those, because tech folks, SaaS founders, they are great with their tech, not so great with their digital presence. Bing, bing, bing. Definitely folks I want to go talk to, right? So I'm going to make sure I'm in that audience. So being strategic about the places where you're showing up at, whether it's online or offline, really doing your research around it, subscribing to a lot of newsletters and things like that. Even if you just have an email that's just for newsletters and promo, so that you can make sure that you're in the loop.
Sorry, one more question. What's your biggest success story where they were viral and it was monetized at the same time? And
my biggest success story, like as soon as you said that, I was like, oh, I know who I'm gonna talk about, is my client named Lorraine, and I gave her name out because she doesn't care. Lorraine is a mom of 3 girls who found me on TikTok. She is a marketer herself, which was interesting to me because I was like, girl, you know what this, so here's another thing I want to tell you guys. Just because someone in your own industry may know stuff, it doesn't mean they know what you know at all. She was looking to broaden her fan base. She had already had, and I say fan base because she had somewhere close to, like, at the time I met her, she had 150,000 on TikTok. Now she's closer to 300,000. But I mean, the girl is amazing at what she does. And that's where I find a lot of success. If you're already amazing, all I got to do is put you in front of the right people and you just gonna fly. So she wanted to do YouTube, and I knew a lot about YouTube. And I also knew a strategy that I had been using that had been successful. So I helped her with that. And she ended up growing her YouTube channel from 0 to, I think she's at 40,000 subscribers, but she's monetized it. And she has over, I think she's at 30 million views or something crazy right now. So yeah, and she's monetizing in like 4 to 5 different ways. And when I first met her, she only had, I think, maybe 1 to 2 ways she was monetizing. Now, she was definitely a beast at what she did. There's no 2 ways about that. But we brought in more monetization structures for her, and a more systems and strategy. She just wasn't necessarily strategizing. She was kind of doing it. She knew she was doing it well, but she was like, I need this to all flow together to where money's coming from all of these different things that I'm doing. And that's what we help her put into place. So I'm super excited about all of her success.
That's just so crazy because it feels like things are so saturated, right? But then you hear these stories and you're like, nope,
they're not
popping through. Yeah.
Don't let the hype fool you. Most of the folks that are that you feel like, oh my gosh, see them all the time, they're paying for it, you know? So your industry isn't as saturated as you think it is. And just because you're seeing things a lot of times doesn't mean the consumer is, right? You're on a different side
Don't assume. Yeah, never
You're on a
assume.
different side of YouTube. Right. Right. So you may be seeing it over and over. You're like, I am so tired of seeing, but your consumer is not going to get tired of you because they want you. They want how you say it. They want how you are communicating it.
Awesome.
Awesome, awesome. Jessica, again, I just want to give a big thanks to you for coming out today. Shoot, you taught us. I don't know about everybody else, but you taught me a lot today. So,
I tell you, I'm a nerd. I am a
I
nerd.
heard it.
Have
And
you
I
heard Washington?
Say it again.
Crystal Washington?
Crystal Washington.
Yeah, she's a speaker. She actually, we host, our organization hosts a Grow Tech Fest every year. It's Largest Entrepreneurial Conference, which might be something you want to attend in 24 north of Sacramento. And she was our speaker in 22, and she's a speaker. She's also a technology strategist. I don't know, it might be fun to follow her. She's super cool. She was an awesome speaker.
Okay.
Yeah, she's out of Houston.
I may have seen her face. So I told you I'm horrible with names.
We've all seen somebody's face.
Yeah. So I may have seen her around in the digital space and then I just
Yeah.
didn't know her name. So
Yeah.
I'm Googling her now. So I'll definitely take a look.
Ooh. Awesome. So
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I've seen her. Yep.
okay.
Good. That's cool. Yeah.
But I'll
Cool,
connect with
cool.
her on LinkedIn.
All right, cool. So what we'll do is we'll have a few things that I'll leave us with. Jessica, if you could feel free to just drop your information or however you feel comfortable giving information to anybody in this Zoom so they could be able to contact you if need be. And I'll
Yeah.
go ahead and finish off here. Can everybody see my screen okay? Again, is there anything that you think that we could provide for you, Jessica?
No, not at
Chico
all.
community.
Just share, share. If you see me on social media, share. And that's it.
Okay. Awesome. I heard that. We could do that, no problem. All right, so what we'll do is have a few finishing remarks here. Let's see. I'll do Hikia. So again, she couldn't make it today, but my name is George. I was your host today for 1 Million Cups. Let us also give a big thanks to our chapter lead, Eva Shepherd. Also, we want to give a big thanks to some of our sponsors, Chico Start, Grow Tech, Global Entrepreneurship Network, Build.com, and Startup Grind for supporting 1 Million Cups here in Chico. Just a few things to leave you with, some events that we have coming up. So Chico Start and Grow Tech will be hosting a For the Love of Grow Tech Wednesday, February 21st at New Ramble West Brewing. So you can come meet us there, hang out with us, get a few drinks. Also, we have our Grow with Google in Spanish on learning the basics of Google Ads. And then one of our partners, Clean Start, invites you to join them in Sacramento for an awesome evening of mingling and drinks and eco-friendly conversations. That will be on Wednesday, the 28th at 6. Again, if you would like to get any more information from us, feel free to join our Chico Start newsletter, which you can find at chicostart.com. Again, before we head out, I just want to leave with a quick quote. Success is walking from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm by Winston Churchill. With that being said, again, thank you, Jessica, for joining us, and peace out, everyone, and see you next time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jessica.
Bye.
Thanks, Jessica.